Hey, it's Mary. I came to you with a question. Why do you think it is that even though we try to tell our stories to younger kids, tell them what we were doing when we were their age, or some things that were fun, or some music or movies or whatever that touched them, some of them listen sometimes, some of them probably are more interested than others or whatever. But I think back, wait a minute, I'm wondering why, for example, my son doesn't want to listen very long to any of my stories because it's kind of old-timey stuff to them. To us, the 80s and 90s, that's not old-timey. Heck, that's just yesterday. But to them, you hear about some kind of movie or whatever. You hear about something that your mom or dad did years ago. My mom would talk about going to Roy Rogers movies and things like that. Dale Evans, the old timey. She was silent generation. And it's not a new thing. I would hear some and it would go in and it would stick with me. I love certain things because my dad got me into it and so on. I wish I had listened more specifically to his stories and her stories and my grandparents, especially my grandma's, because they do have wisdom and they do have meaning in those stories, meaning for them and then meaning for me, especially when I became a history professor. I learned where some of the words that they used actually came from. There were words that my mom would say quite often, or people would say things like, "Oh, your room looks like Fibber McGee's closet," or something like that. And that was an old running joke in a 1930s and 1940s radio show. I learned that as an adult, again, doing history and loving old things and old movies and all that. And so to us, though, the movies that are old to me are the 40s. I'm wearing a t-shirt today of one of the movies that I really loved, saw in the theater back in the day, back whenever. But they don't want to hear too much about that. And I'm thinking, well, did we? No, we didn't. Because if it's a lesson we're trying to teach them, I think they learn a lot more from watching us than they do from listening to us, honestly. Of course, that's intuitive. We know that. But I think they're picking up so many things from us. They still don't want to take, advice because it's not my life or your life, it's their life. And we felt that exact same way. I know we did because we did. Sitting down and trying to impart your wisdom on your child at a certain age, they're trying to break away. Remember, adolescence. He's trying to break away. They're trying to break away because that's a natural form of development. And if you're ever saying, hey kid, blah, blah, blah. If you're ever saying like, would you watch, for me, it would be like Boys in the Hood, Donnie Darko, Memento, Reservoir Dogs, all kinds of these movies that impacted me, 80s and 90s and whatever. And their look is like, or if you say, when I was your age, I had this kind of job and this blah, 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 and they're glazed over eyes. Don't blame them. It's normal. It's adolescence. Growing up, you give them the grace, you give them the tools, the best you can. And I'm not the best at anything sometimes as being a great role model in terms of just, I don't know, whatever. I think we all have our own struggles with different things. But the truth is, we just got to let them, again, make their own decisions, and then they'll make the right ones for them, not for us, right? Everybody just keep in mind as they're growing, and some of you, maybe your grandchildren and so on, keep in mind as they're growing, they're going to be okay and they're going to find their way. Maybe they don't want to watch a long form movie with you and have you explain to them why this would be completely non-controversial at a certain period of time, and today it's, woo, that's very controversial. They don't need to hear all that. What they need is for you to just be present and listen to them more than you talk. Oh, that's hard for me. It's almost impossible for me to stop talking. Anybody that knows me, if I have anybody that actually knows me in person, you know this. If there's anybody that's subscribed that actually knows me in person, you know how I am. And I've tried to back off and be quieter. I've tried, and I'm making progress. I hold myself accountable to that. All right, anyway, thank you guys. Take care of your kids, your grandkids, whoever. Love them and do the best you can, trying to help them along. I love you guys. You're the best subscribers ever.